Welcome back to Love English Lab. I'm David, and today I'm here with Alex to talk about something that sounds simple but is actually very powerful: how to learn English like children do.
Hey everyone, I love this topic because children don't study grammar books. They don't translate in their heads. And still, they become fluent so fast. So, what's their secret?
Exactly. Why can children learn a language naturally while adults often struggle for years?
Maybe because children don't try to learn, they just live in the language. They hear it, they play with it, they repeat what they hear, and they don't care if they make mistakes.
When we say make mistakes, we mean to say something wrong, and that's completely normal when you're learning.
Right. Kids aren't afraid of sounding funny or saying something incorrect. They just keep talking. That's something adults can learn from. Fear stops fluency.
I like that phrase, fear stops fluency. When you're afraid to speak, you actually slow down your progress.
Another difference is that children are immersed in the language. It's everywhere around them.
Immersed means completely surrounded by something, like living inside a pool of English every day.
Exactly. When a child wakes up, everyone speaks to them in that language. Their parents, friends, teachers. They don't have to study the language. They live it.
But adults can't exactly move to another country every time they want to learn a language, right?
True. But the good news is we can create a similar environment at home by listening, repeating, and thinking in English every day.
Environment means the situation or place around you. So, in today's episode, we'll look at how children learn and how you can copy their habits to speak English more naturally.
We'll talk about curiosity, listening first, playing with words, and learning through emotion, all things that make learning faster.
And don't worry, we'll also show practical tips adults can use, even if you only have 20 minutes a day.
Perfect. So grab your notebook, or just relax and listen. By the end of this episode, you'll see that learning English like a child doesn't mean acting like one. It means learning with the same freedom and joy.
Freedom and joy mean without fear or stress, just enjoying the process. Let's begin with the first part: why children learn so fast.
So, David, let's start with the big question. Why do children learn languages so much faster than adults?
That's a great question. One of the main reasons is exposure. Children hear the language all the time, at home, in school, on TV, and when they play with friends. They don't study for 1 hour a day. They live in the language all day long.
Exposure means how much contact you have with the language. The more you hear it, the faster your brain connects words and meanings. It's like listening to music. After hearing the same song many times, you already know the lyrics without trying.
Exactly. The brain loves patterns. When a child hears phrases again and again, those patterns become automatic. Adults can do the same by surrounding themselves with English every day.
That's right. Instead of one big study session once a week, 10 minutes every day is better. The brain learns through frequency, not force.
Another important reason is that children don't worry about being perfect. They don't think, oh, is this grammar correct? They just say whatever comes to their mind.
When a child says something like, I go to the park, adults know what they mean, even if it's not grammatically correct. But the important thing is that they try. That's what helps them improve so fast.
Yes, that's called trial and error, trying something, making mistakes, and learning from them. Each mistake teaches the brain what works and what doesn't.
Trial and error is the most natural way to learn. You test something, see what happens, and fix it next time. The brain remembers better when it has to correct itself.
And adults can learn the same way if they stop trying to be perfect all the time. Fluency doesn't come from perfection, it comes from practice.
I like that. Fluency doesn't come from perfection. It comes from practice. Children practice by speaking constantly, even if their grammar isn't ready yet.
Another reason children learn fast is repetition. They hear the same words thousands of times, like, "What's your name? Come here. Sit down. Good job." It may sound boring, but repetition creates strong memory connections.
It's true. Think about how we all learned our first language. Nobody gave us a vocabulary list. We heard water again and again until our brain linked the sound, the image, and the meaning together.
Yes, it's not translation, it's connection. Children don't think agua equals water. They just feel that water is that clear thing they drink.
That's powerful. Adults can copy that by connecting English words directly with images or actions, not with words in their native language.
Right. For example, when you hear apple, imagine the fruit, not the word in Spanish or French. That's how your brain builds real fluency.
And here's another secret: emotion. Children remember words connected to feelings. When someone smiles and says, "Good job," or "I love you," the emotion makes those words unforgettable.
That's because the brain doesn't separate emotion from memory. If something makes you happy, sad, or excited, your brain marks it as important and keeps it longer.
So if adults want to learn faster, they need to make English emotional too. Learn with songs, stories, or people that make you feel something.
Exactly. Don't just study lists of verbs. Watch a funny video in English. Listen to a podcast that inspires you. Read something that moves you. That's what makes words stick.
And we can't forget curiosity. Children are naturally curious. They ask why all the time. Every moment is an opportunity to learn.
Yes. And curiosity gives you motivation. Adults often lose that feeling because they focus too much on results. But if you learn with curiosity, your brain stays active and engaged.
Another big difference is pressure. Children aren't under pressure to perform. Nobody tells them, "You must speak perfectly today." They just explore and enjoy discovering new words.
Pressure kills progress. When you're nervous, your brain blocks information. That's why relaxed learners remember more.
So if you want to learn like a child, remove pressure. Don't compare your English to anyone else's. Speak freely, make mistakes, and laugh about them.
I love that. Laughing at your mistakes makes them easier to fix. And remember, the goal isn't to be perfect, it's to communicate.
That's so true. Children care about communication. They want to be understood, not to sound like a grammar book.
Exactly. And maybe that's the biggest reason they learn faster. They focus on meaning, not on rules.
Let's sum it up. Children learn fast because they have constant exposure. They repeat naturally, they learn emotionally, they're curious, and they're not afraid to make mistakes.
And adults can do the same if they create a small world of English around them: music, podcasts, books, conversations. It's about living in English, not just studying it.
I love that phrase, live in English, don't just study it.
So that's our first secret. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into how to build that kind of environment, what we call immersion, and how curiosity can make learning exciting again.
Don't miss it. Coming next. Chapter 2. The Secret, Immersion and Curiosity.
So, Alex, in the last chapter, we said that children learn fast because they live in the language. Let's talk more about that, about immersion and curiosity.
Right. Immersion means being surrounded by English all the time, hearing it, seeing it, reading it, speaking it, even thinking in it. It's like swimming in English instead of just touching the water.
Exactly. If you only study grammar rules once in a while, it's like standing next to a pool and watching others swim. But when you dive in, when you live in English, your brain starts to adapt naturally.
You said adapt, and that's an important word. To adapt means to change or adjust to something new. The human brain is great at that, but it needs constant contact.
That's true. Think about how children learn their first language. They hear it everywhere, in songs, stories, and daily life. Their brains don't have a choice. They must understand to survive, to ask for food, or to play with friends.
Exactly. That's why full immersion is so effective. It gives your brain a reason to learn. Adults sometimes lose that sense of necessity, but you can recreate it by surrounding yourself with English in simple ways.
Like what, for example?
You could change your phone to English, watch short videos with English subtitles, label objects at home like door, mirror, fridge. These small actions keep your brain in contact with the language all day.
I like that idea. And music is another great tool. When you sing along, you practice pronunciation, rhythm, and memory all at once.
Yes, and it doesn't feel like studying. It's fun. That's exactly what immersion should feel like, part of your life, not a separate task.
The interesting thing is that immersion doesn't mean you must move to an English speaking country. You can build your own English world wherever you are.
Totally. I know people who improved a lot just by listening to English podcasts while walking or doing chores. It's about frequency, not geography.
I like that. Frequency, not geography. The more often you hear English, the faster it becomes familiar. The brain loves familiarity.
Familiar means something that feels known or comfortable. The more English feels familiar, the less scary it becomes to use it.
Exactly. And when English starts to sound normal, your brain stops translating. That's when real fluency begins.
You know what's interesting? Children don't even know they're learning a language. They're just curious. Curiosity is their superpower.
True. They're always asking questions. What's that? Why? How? They explore the world with curiosity, and language grows naturally through that.
Adults can learn the same way if they bring curiosity back into learning. For example, instead of memorizing words, ask questions like, why do people say this? Or when do natives use that phrase?
Yes, curiosity turns passive learning into active discovery. It's like a game. You start noticing small details, pronunciation, tone, expressions, and your brain becomes more alert.
Alert means awake and ready to notice things. When your mind is alert, it catches new words faster.
And curiosity keeps you motivated. Many learners stop studying because they get bored, but curious people never stop learning. They always want to know more.
It's like how children learn to walk. They fall many times, but they don't give up because they're curious about what happens if they try again.
Exactly. And that same curiosity helps them learn to speak. They don't say, oh, my pronunciation is bad. They just keep trying until it works.
I think curiosity and play are connected. When you play with something, you explore it without fear. That's how kids learn.
So true. Adults can play too, with words, with sound, with expressions. For example, try imitating a short scene from a movie, or record yourself repeating phrases from a podcast.
That's a great exercise. When you repeat natural speech, you train your ears and your mouth at the same time. And it feels creative, not academic.
Yes, it's like learning music. At first, you copy the melody, later, you improvise your own. Language works the same way.
I like that comparison. So, immersion gives your brain input, and curiosity gives you the energy to explore that input. Together, they make learning faster and more natural.
That's the perfect combination, and it's something adults can choose to do. You can create immersion anywhere, and you can decide to be curious again.
Maybe we should give listeners a small challenge for this week.
Great idea. How about this? Choose one activity you already do every day, like cooking, driving, or exercising, and add English to it. Listen to something in English while you do it.
Perfect. And here's a second challenge. Every time you hear a new phrase, don't just write it down. Ask yourself, when would I use this? Curiosity is about connecting words to real situations.
I love that. When you connect words to real life, you remember them naturally.
So, to sum up this chapter, immersion gives your brain contact with the language. Curiosity keeps it alive and enjoyable.
And together, they create the same magic that helps children learn without stress.
In the next chapter, we'll talk about another secret of children, how mistakes and play help them learn faster.
Don't miss it. Coming next, Chapter 3, Mistakes and Play, the Real Learning Process. So far, we've talked about immersion and curiosity, but there's another secret behind how children learn languages so well. They play and they make mistakes all the time.
Exactly. For children, mistakes are not failures. They're part of the game. When they say something wrong, they don't feel embarrassed. They just try again.
That's a big difference between children and adults. Yeah, adults often think a mistake means they're bad at English, but actually, mistakes mean you're learning.
Right. Every time you make a mistake, your brain adjusts. It notices the problem, fixes it, and remembers it for the future. That's how learning really happens.
You could say mistakes are like gym exercises for your brain. Each one makes your language muscles a little stronger.
I love that idea, language muscles. And just like going to the gym, it takes repetition and patience. You can't expect to be fluent after 1 week.
Exactly. And play is what keeps children patient. When they play, they don't even notice time passing. They're learning without stress.
Play doesn't just mean games with toys. It means exploring freely, trying new sounds, words, and ideas just for fun.
For example, a child might invent a funny word or mix two words together. Adults laugh, but that creative play helps them understand how language works.
Yes, it's like testing how words connect. They learn grammar by playing with it, not by memorizing charts.
Adults can do something similar. For instance, you can play with pronunciation. Try saying one sentence in different ways: faster, slower, louder, softer.
That's great advice. It trains your ear and your mouth. And when you play with language, it feels lighter, not like a heavy obligation.
Obligation means something you must do even if you don't want to. Many learners feel English is an obligation, not a game, and that's what blocks progress.
True, but when you turn English into play, you relax. And when you relax, you learn faster.
There's also a psychological part. Children don't judge themselves. They never say, "My accent is terrible," or "My grammar is awful." They just speak.
That's such an important point. Self-judgment kills confidence. If you keep correcting yourself in your head, you stop talking.
Exactly. Adults often have too much self awareness. They think too much about how they sound instead of what they're saying.
Self-awareness means noticing yourself too much, for example, worrying about your voice or mistakes.
Yes, it's good to be aware but not obsessed. A little awareness helps, too much stops you.
So maybe adults should learn to think more like kids. Be curious, be playful, and stop worrying about how perfect you sound.
I agree. You can even make learning into small games. For example, if you're listening to a podcast, try repeating one phrase exactly as the speaker says it.
Or play a guess the word game with a friend. One person describes a word without saying it, and the other has to guess it. That way, you use vocabulary in a fun way.
Another great idea is to record yourself and listen back. Most learners are afraid to do that, but it's powerful. You hear your progress and also your small errors, and that helps you grow.
Yes, because you can only improve what you notice. When you listen to yourself, you become your own teacher.
That's true, and here's something I tell my students. If you never make mistakes, it means you're not learning anything new.
That's perfect. Mistakes mean movement. They show that you're stretching your limits.
Stretching your limits means going beyond what's easy. When you challenge yourself, your brain expands.
I think that's why children improve so fast. They're constantly stretching their limits through play. Every game, every conversation, every new word is a challenge they enjoy.
And they don't need permission to play. They just start. Adults sometimes wait for the right course, the right book, or the right moment. But the best moment is always now.
That's so true. You can play with English anywhere, in your kitchen, on the bus, or while walking. Describe what you see in English. Talk to yourself out loud. It's free practice.
Exactly. And the best part is nobody needs to correct you right away. The goal isn't perfection, it's fluency through freedom.
Fluency through freedom. I like that phrase. It means you speak more naturally when you stop fearing mistakes.
Yes, and you start enjoying English more. You go from I have to learn to I want to learn.
That's when progress becomes automatic. Learning stops feeling like work and starts feeling like play.
So, to sum up this chapter, mistakes are teachers and play is your classroom.
That's a great summary. If you want to learn faster, play more and worry less.
In the next chapter, we'll explore another key idea: how listening comes before speaking and why silence can actually help you become fluent.
That's going to be interesting. Coming next, Chapter 4. Listening comes before speaking.
Alex, in the last chapter, we said that mistakes and play are part of how children learn. But there's another thing they do before they even say a single word: they listen.
That's true. Before children start speaking, they spend months just listening. They hear voices, sounds, words, and patterns every day. That's how they build their foundation.
Foundation means the base or the starting point of something. For language, listening is the foundation. It prepares your brain to speak naturally later.
Exactly. When babies hear the same sounds again and again, their brains start recognizing rhythm, tone, and pronunciation long before they can use words.
That's why children don't memorize grammar rules. They learn the rhythm of sentences, how they sound. Adults often do the opposite. They learn how to write and read before they truly learn to listen.
That's so true. But language is sound before it's writing. When you focus on listening first, speaking becomes easier because your mouth already knows what sounds right.
Yes, listening is like filling your brain's sound bank. You store all the natural phrases, and later when you speak, you just withdraw from that bank.
I like that image, a sound bank. And it's also how we develop intuition. When you listen enough, you start feeling what's correct even if you can't explain the grammar.
Exactly. Intuition means knowing something without needing to analyze it. You just feel it's right.
That's what native speakers do. They don't think about rules every time they talk. They just know. And that knowledge comes from years of listening.
The good news is adults can train that skill too. It's never too late to build your listening habit.
Absolutely, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Just listen to English every single day, podcasts, songs, series, or even short clips.
The key word is every day. Listening once a week won't help much, but even 10 minutes daily makes a big difference.
Right. It's like watering a plant. If you water it regularly, it grows. If you forget for a week, it dries out.
That's a great comparison. And the best way to listen is with purpose. Don't try to understand every word. Focus on the main idea and how the speaker sounds.
Yes. Many learners stop listening because they feel frustrated when they don't understand everything. But even when you don't understand all the words, your brain is still learning.
Exactly. It's recognizing sounds, patterns, and emotions. You're training your ears even if you don't notice it.
Let's give a small example. Imagine you hear "what you doin'." The first time, you might not understand. But after hearing it many times, your brain connects it with "what are you doing?"
That's a perfect example. Listening helps you recognize natural, connected speech. It's how you move from textbook English to real life English.
And another benefit of listening is pronunciation. When you hear native speakers, you start copying their rhythm, intonation, and melody.
Intonation means the rise and fall of your voice when you speak. It's what makes English sound alive and emotional.
Right. So if you want to sound more natural, listen and imitate. Shadowing is a great technique for that.
For anyone who doesn't know, shadowing means repeating what you hear almost at the same time as the speaker. It trains your ears, your mouth, and your brain all together.
It's powerful. At first, it feels hard, but after a few days, you'll notice your pronunciation and rhythm improving fast.
And it also helps you speak faster without translating. Because when you shadow, you're not thinking of grammar, you're reacting to sound.
That's true. Children do that naturally. They don't translate, they imitate. And that's why their pronunciation is so good.
Adults often have a strong accent because they try to speak before listening enough. They don't have enough examples in their sound bank.
So, if you want better pronunciation, start with more listening, not more speaking.
Another important thing is to choose the right kind of listening material, something that's interesting and not too difficult.
Yes. If it's too easy, you get bored. If it's too hard, you get frustrated. The best level is when you understand about 70 or 80%, just enough to stay challenged.
That's the sweet spot for learning, not too easy, not too hard.
And also mix different types of listening. Listen to conversations, stories, interviews, and songs. Each one trains a different part of your brain.
That's right. Songs help with pronunciation and rhythm. Podcasts help with natural speed and vocabulary. Stories help with understanding context and emotion.
And you don't need to sit still while listening. You can listen while cleaning, cooking, driving, or walking. That's how you make English part of your lifestyle.
Lifestyle means the way you live every day. If English becomes part of your lifestyle, it stops feeling like a subject. It becomes part of who you are.
I love that. Listening isn't just a skill, it's a habit that changes your relationship with English.
Exactly. So, to summarize, children learn to speak because they listen first. Adults can do the same by listening more, worrying less, and imitating naturally.
And remember, every minute you spend listening is building invisible progress. You might not notice it today, but one day you'll realize your brain understands automatically.
That's the magic of listening. It's slow and silent, but it creates real fluency.
In the next chapter, we'll discover how adults can use all these childlike habits, immersion, curiosity, play, and listening to learn like kids too.
Coming next, Chapter 5, How Adults Can Learn Like Kids Too.
So far, we've talked about how children learn languages. They listen, they play, they repeat, and they don't worry about mistakes. But now comes the big question. How can adults learn like kids too?
Great question. Many people say, I wish I could learn like a child again. The truth is, you can. You just have to change your attitude toward learning.
Attitude means the way you think and feel about something. Children have a positive attitude. They're curious, fearless, and excited about discovering new things. Adults can choose to think the same way.
Exactly. The first step is to remove fear. Fear is the biggest wall between you and fluency. When you stop being afraid of mistakes, you open the door to progress.
And the best way to stop being afraid is to remember that mistakes are normal. Everyone who speaks a second language makes them, even advanced learners.
Yes. Think about children again. When they say, I goed instead of I went, no one tells them to stop speaking. People just correct them gently and they keep going. Adults should do the same. Accept correction without shame.
Shame means the bad feeling you get when you think you've done something wrong. But there's nothing to be ashamed of in language learning. It's a process, not a performance.
I like that. A process, not a performance. You're not on stage, you're growing. Every mistake is like a brick that builds your house of English.
That's a great image. And speaking of houses, the next step is building your environment. If children learn because they live in the language, adults can do it too by creating a small English world around them.
Exactly. For example, you can set your phone, Netflix, and social media to English. You can follow English-speaking creators, read news in English, and talk to friends in English online.
Right. Make English your default. When your environment changes, your brain naturally starts working in that language more often.
Another powerful tool is imitation. Children learn by copying their parents, teachers, and friends. Adults can imitate too, voices, expressions, even accents.
That's true. You can pick your favorite speaker or actor and try to sound like them. Listen carefully, repeat their sentences, and match their tone and rhythm. That's shadowing in action.
Shadowing is a fantastic technique. It trains your ears and your mouth at the same time. And when you repeat natural English, you start thinking in English automatically.
That's right. Thinking in English is a big goal for many learners, and it becomes possible when your brain stops translating.
And to stop translating, you need more input. The more you listen and read, the more automatic your responses become. You start hearing, "How are you?" and instantly think, "I'm good," not "Estoy bien."
Exactly. It's all about repetition and exposure. You're programming your brain to respond in English.
Here's another thing adults can learn from children: curiosity. Kids ask why all the time. Adults sometimes lose that sense of wonder.
Wonder means the feeling of surprise or amazement when something is interesting. If you bring that feeling back, learning becomes more fun.
Yes, instead of memorizing words, explore them. Ask, "Where does this word come from?" Or, "When do people actually use it?" That makes the word stay longer in your memory.
I agree. And don't forget about play. Even adults can make learning playful. Try language games, word challenges, or small speaking tasks with friends.
For example, you can have English only dinners once a week or spend 5 minutes describing your day in English before bed. Those small routines make a huge difference over time.
Routine means something you do regularly. Children have daily routines in their language: greetings, bedtime stories, songs. Adults can build their own English routines.
Yes, and your routine doesn't have to be long. Consistency is more important than time. 10 minutes every day is better than 1 hour once a week.
That's so true. Small actions, done often, create big results. Just like a child doesn't become fluent in 1 month, adults also need time, but steady progress wins.
And here's something important: don't compare yourself to others. Every learner has a different path. Children don't compare their progress, they just keep playing and improving naturally.
Comparison kills confidence. Instead, celebrate small victories. The first time you understand a movie without subtitles, or when someone compliments your pronunciation.
Those moments show real growth, and celebrating them keeps motivation alive.
Motivation means the reason you want to do something. Without it, learning feels heavy. With it, everything feels possible.
So, to learn like a child, you need 3 things: curiosity, playfulness, and consistency. Add those to your routine, and English will start to feel natural.
And remember, being an adult has one big advantage: you can plan your learning. Children learn by instinct. Adults can combine instinct with strategy.
That's true. You can choose what to study, where to focus, and how to organize your time. Use that power wisely.
So maybe adults don't learn exactly like kids, but they can learn as effectively by mixing curiosity, emotion, repetition, and immersion.
Perfect summary. You don't have to be a child to learn like one, you just need the same open mind.
In our final reflection, we'll look back at everything we've learned and share a few final thoughts on how to keep that childlike energy alive in your English journey.
Coming next, final reflection: keep the curiosity alive. We've talked about so many things today: how children learn through listening, curiosity, play, and emotion. Now let's take a moment to reflect on what this really means for you.
I think the biggest lesson is simple. Children don't study languages. They live them. They don't translate. They don't memorize rules. They use the language to connect, to explore, and to express themselves.
Exactly. And adults can do the same. You can live in English without moving to another country. You just need to surround yourself with it through music, videos, podcasts, books, and people.
It's not about time, it's about consistency. Doing a little every day is better than studying for hours once a week.
Consistency means doing something regularly. Children learn fast because they repeat things every day. Greetings, songs, stories. Adults can build the same rhythm with small daily habits.
Right. Start your day with an English podcast. Write your notes in English, or describe what you see around you. Each small action keeps your brain active in the language.
And don't forget emotion. Children learn words because they feel them. Love, fun, curiosity. When you enjoy what you are learning, your brain remembers it longer.
That's true. Think about the songs you loved as a teenager. You still remember the lyrics because they had emotion. Make English emotional too.
And please don't be afraid of mistakes. Every mistake means you're trying. Confidence doesn't come from perfection, it comes from being brave enough to speak.
I love that. If you wait until you're perfect, you'll never start. Speak, even if it's not perfect. Every sentence is a step forward.
A step forward means progress. Even small steps count. Learning a language isn't a race, it's a journey.
And on that journey, curiosity is your best travel partner. Ask questions, explore, and never lose that sense of wonder.
Wonder means the feeling of excitement when something new surprises you. That's what keeps learning beautiful.
When you stay curious, English stops being a subject and becomes part of your life, part of how you think, feel, and see the world.
Exactly. You'll stop saying, I'm studying English, and start saying, I live in English.
That's the goal, living in English, enjoying it, and learning naturally, just like children do.
So, our message for you is simple: stay curious, stay brave, and enjoy the process.
This was Love English Lab, helping you grow, one conversation at a time.
See you in the next episode.